over 20 years of experience in facilitating training for the subject across Asia Pacific and the Middle East region. He is himself certified with numerous certifications, including ISO 27001 Lead Auditor, ISO 27005 Risk Management. Welcome, Mr. Sanjay. It's an honor to have you today on the platform. Before we start, I would request everyone to kindly mute themselves. Also, please feel free to ask any questions between the session by dropping them in the chat box. Mr. Sanjay will be answering them towards the end of the session. We will try our best to make this session as informative and knowledgeable as possible for everyone. Now, I would invite Mr. Sanjay Gore to enlighten us with his knowledge of the industry. Over to you, sir.
Hello, can anybody receive me? Are you listening?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So with your permission, let me start the presenting, okay? So friends, to start with, today's, I'm very happy and thank you Alvin Integrated Services for giving me an opportunity to present before you various. Just a minute. Just let me align my this thing. Okay. So today's meeting is for critical overview of ISO 27001 standard, which is in short normally called as ISMS. This is a standalone standard for various management information systems connected with information security. So in this session of around 40-45 minutes, what I will be doing is somebody is suggesting that my audio feed is not correct. Can you listen? Any problem?
Audio is clear to sir.
Yeah, okay. So now with your permission, let us begin. So these are the instructions actually that you can go through, as she has already told you. Critical overview means what happened. Actually, this typical ISO IEC 27001 2013 standard, training is normally given for 5 days, 5 full days, 30 hours. So today we are not learning. Actually, it is not a teaching kind of. It is just a submission. Whatever the overview, what the standard says, what are the precautions to be taken, how audit to be conducted, and many things. So it is actually a challenge for me to fit it within, say, 45 minutes. So let us see how it works. So today's agenda is what is information assets and why information security. Then we'll see benefits of implementing information security. What is confidentiality, integrity, and availability? It is called as a CIA triad. So any information security, you should know what is CIA. Okay. Then okay. So structure and contents of ISO 27001 2013, mandatory requirements, then risk management, related risk management. So there are other standards like 27005 and 31000. How that is related with this ISMS, that we'll see. Then process model, which is normally called as PDCA, that also we'll see, and continual improvement. Then certification calendar. So when any organization wants to get certified under 27001, what would be the calendar? Means when they will do, when it is implemented, when it is audited, etc. That full calendar we'll see. And then we'll see for internal audits and continual improvement. So this is my topic today. Now, first important, most important, what I have to say is information asset. Normally, what is asset? Asset is what you own, and liability is what you owe. Okay. So asset is, what happened is when any organization, there is a loss or damage to asset, the organization put to loss. So that is the test of any asset. Suppose I have a vehicle, if there is a damage to my vehicle, and because of that damage, my organization or me is lost, put to loss, then that is owned by me. That is a test. So what are the information assets? Hardware. Now it includes desktop, computers, laptops, PDAs, personal digital assistants. Nowadays it is not there because of smartphone has taken place of PDAs. Then switches and routers. All these are hardware and which have information. So these information assets are assets where the information resides. So if you say switches and router, most important information regarding the network, firewall, etc., it resides. Nowadays, smart switches have come, so it includes software capability also. Okay. Then another is software. Application software. Software is two types. One is application software, and another is operating systems. So that also is an information asset. Netware. Netware includes hardware and software also. That is VPN, virtual private networks, access control. So should I continue now? I think somebody.
May I request? Sorry, Mr. Sanjay. May I request the participants to keep themselves on mute, please? Thank you. That would be a great help, great support. Thank you. Yeah. Mr. Sanjay, please continue. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So then it is a netware, which is virtual private network, access control. Access control is a list normally. ACL it is called as. It is definitely stored somewhere. So that, and that information itself is an asset to us. Then firewalls, firewall rules, IDS, that is intrusion detection system, IPS, that is intrusion prevention system, and network diagram. Network diagram is also very important information for the organization. Then it is a data. Software source codes, financial data, product specifications, users, access control, policies, procedures, legal documents, architecture of IT system, etc. All are data. Data is just organized information. Meaningful and organized information is called as data. So that data is also an asset of the company. People. Most important
Mr. Sanjay, I am sorry to interrupt. You went on mute. Please check your mic setting. No, we can't help you. Please check your mic setting, please.
Now it is okay?
Yes, yes. Thanks.
Yeah. Sorry for this interruption. It's okay. We'll continue. Now it is, you listen me? Hello? Hello? Can you listen me?
Yes. We can listen.
Yeah.
We can.
Okay.
Yes, Sanjay, we can listen you.
Yeah, thank you. So then we'll see the processes. The various processes are also information assets. And another important asset is tacit knowledge. Tacit knowledge, that is knowledge in the head of, say, very important person, CEO is having a particular password or a strategy plan, which is not written anywhere. That tacit knowledge is also an information of asset of the organization. Most important amongst all is data, because all other things can be replaced. Say you can go for good hardware, you can go for good software, you can hire new people, knowledgeable people, you can have processes rebuild, etc. but data cannot be rebuilt, and which is very important. So security of data is very important. For example, I started working somewhere in 80s, and I went for my life insurance where I was paying say 200 rupees premium, and now after reaching 60, I am going to get the benefit of life insurance, and life insurance company suppose says that they don't have data. So just imagine what is the importance of a data. Then we'll go for a framework. What is framework? Framework is nothing but a language kind of. So if a particular term is used or a particular measurable term is used, the same knowledge or same information is understood by many professionals. So these are the very important need. I mean, why it is needed, why framework is needed. So all professionals will talk in a same technical language. Process framework for implementation and management of controls to ensure that the specific security objectives of an organization are met. If I say I am complied with PCI DSS, means whatever there is a provision of PCI DSS is followed by my organization. So I need not tell all the things like 124 controls like that. I need not tell. I just said, and secondly, it has to be certified by somebody. So important. Then definition of new information security management process. So sometimes it guides us, small organizations which they don't have their own say strategy, or because they are very small, so they can easily follow the framework, which is framework is a combination of various professional globally, and that is a combined knowledge. So that can be done. The use on external auditors, external and internal auditors to the great extent can rely on the framework. So that is important. And for implementation of business. So what happened is now business enabling information security. What happened is business, you have your own security objectives. In ISMS also, they actually ask you to go for each and every department or a function should have its own information objectives. So they are information objectives not per se. So it should be business oriented. So that framework of business is transferred to information security frameworks. So these are the few points of information security, framework for information security. Then we'll go, what are the benefits? If a particular, say, organization is certified with 27001 ISMS, then what are the benefits? The most important benefit is organizational image and reputation. So you must have seen many organizations in their hoarding or their advertisement or email signatures or various banners, they proudly say certified ISO 27001 certified, like that. So that image building is very important because to the great extent, it assures to the stakeholders like your clients, your auditors, your business and other partners, your suppliers, your clients, everybody will get certainly up to certain extent assured that the organization is taking proper care of their information and their information, organization information is secured. Then what happened, because it is based on various frameworks, your operational cost also reduces because you are avoiding various risks and you are depending on that particular framework. Then operations are smoother, more secure and organized working environment is there. Because of the framework, everybody is decided, rules and responsibilities are decided. There is one concept called as RACI. So RACI chart is prepared. So I know what is my responsibility, what is my accountability and other things. Then well-defined and tested procedures are there. Then legal requirements are fulfilled. So many aspects are that legally they say you should be certified. Many cases, even you cannot bid proposal. If you want to bid for a business, then you have to get certified. You have to submit a certification that you are already certified under this standard. Then it is enhanced responsibility, assignment and asset protection. Then better system to create, manage, operate and update business operations and to heal external and internal attacks. So external and internal attacks also to the great extent are controlled if we follow this 27007. So in this brief, there are many, but in this is the brief description of various benefits attained if we go for certification for 27001. So we'll go to next slide now. This is very, very important information security triad, it is called as, which is roaming between three concepts. One is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality is nothing but property that information is not made available or disclosed to unauthorized individual, entity, or process. So this confidential information is a property and it is not made available to the person or the process or entity or a network or any application software which is not authorized to obtain that. It is called as need to know and need to do. So that information either he should be in need to know or in need to do something based on that information. So that is confidentiality. Integrity is nothing but accuracy, completeness, and free from unauthorized changes. Unauthorized changes means integrity includes accuracy of the record, then it is completeness, the record should be complete, and it should be free from any corruption. Corruption means unauthorized changes to the information. And availability is a property accessible and usable to authorized person only. So availability best example is I go to ATM and want to withdraw some money, it should be available to me. Or I am logging to company's application software, I am an authorized user, it should be available to me, like that. So availability. Then we'll go to next is information security. How? How means controls. How that a particular CIA can be attained. So it can be attained by detecting, preventing, and responding. Detecting is detecting something before it happens. Preventing is once it is detected, you can prevent it. And responding is even after prevention level, it is not, then you can respond to that. I will give one example afterwards. Then who will do this? People, process, and technology. So people will do this means man behind machine, the persons who are authorized to do, they have charter, they have mandate, they are authority. So all these people will do the things. Process is a protocol or SOP where by that process itself, technology or people are authorized to do certain things. And technology is a technology, mainly mainly your business technology, like for example, oil extraction company, they have their own technology, insurance, banking, air travel, whatever, aviation and other things. But here we are referring technology as IT, in addition to your business technology, IT. So I sum up like this. What is triad? Triad is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. How it is done? It is done by detecting, preventing, and responding. That is done by having controls. It is called as internal controls. And who will do this? Either people, process, or technology. So it could be, now combination is confidentiality is attended by detecting, preventing, or responding, and it is done by people, or is a combination of people, process, and technology, or it could be all. Means confidentiality CIA is attained by DPR and at the same time PPT. So it could be maximum cases, all can be applicable or any one of them. So this is in basic information security triad. Then we'll see in brief, because we know now what is CIA. Now we'll see overview, like say view of 36,000 feet height. What is 27001? 27001 was initially started somewhere in 90s, then many years it was 2005. Now in 2013 they have changed it, and now latest is 2013. And I heard that another standard is coming, maybe 2021. So as on today, there are 4 important sections, 0 to 3. Actually, start with is started with 0. So the number is 3, but actually number is 3, but we start with 0. So 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1 is introduction. Introduction means introduction of the standard, not organization. Important, the introduction of standard. What is the standard? How? What are the objectives, etc. Then scope of the standard. Scope of the standard. How it is applicable. Various rules to do, not to do, and many things. Then normative reference. Normative reference means, say now we are talking of CIA, we are talking of continual improvement, we are talking of PDCA, many things, terms we are using. We are using, say, access control, we are using, say, information objectives, security objectives, like that. So all are defined. And here normative reference is given to standard 27000. 27,000 is a normative reference for this particular standard. And not necessarily only 27,000. There are certain, like they take it from 20,000 and any other standard related to information security. And terms and conditions, these terms and conditions are referring to standard itself. Okay. Then next, there are section 4 to 10. And section 4 to 10 are, section number 4 is organization control, which has 3 aspects: internal context, external context, and related party. Internal context is PPT, people, process, technology, how the organization is depending on that, what are their relations, RACI, and many things. Who is reporting what, organization chart, etc. Internal. External is, somebody has nicely put it into PESTEL, means political, economical, sociological, technological, legal, etc. So all these contexts should be there. Then leadership, yes, it should be defined. Normally leadership is defined by board of directors and steering committee and other persons. Then we'll go for planning. Planning, the name indicates various plan you have to do, and that should be documented. Then support is, so there is a small difference between leadership and support. Leadership is also a support, but leadership is an art, and support is rule. I mean, once it is reduced to the writing, then the management has to support it. It becomes their duty. Then operations of here again, operations of not your organization operation, operations of ISMS, Information Security Management System. Then performance evaluation is, you have to define information security objectives, which is mandatory as per the standard, and that then there should be some key risk indicators and key performance indicators. Risk indicators are risk high, medium, low, and performance indicators are quality of controls or the action by the people, process, technology, all. So that can be performance evaluation. Normally objectives are based on SMART. It is called as SMART principle, like specific, measurable, attainable, etc. Attainable, relevant, time bound, etc. So that SMART performance evaluation should be defined. And improvement. Improvement is continual improvement. So that is a total structure overview of 27001 2013 standard. After all these 11 clauses, then it comes with Annex 1, which is Annex 1 is a list of various controls that we'll see in next slide. So Annex A has controls like, these are the total 114, we'll say information security policy. I will go first. That information security policy, any organization should have information security policy. And the rules, how the policy should be, who is authorized, how it is to be adopted, what would be the contents, how, and other things, they are made provisions under 05. 06 is organization of information security, where you have to give organizational chart, who is report to whom, what is say your steering committee, who is a CISO. So ISMS, there should be one separate department, and that function, so organization of that function is defined here. Then human resource security. Human resource security includes not only employees, but your contractors, auditors, consultant. So how you are secure, there are three parts like before recruiting, during employment, after employment, like that. So they are given here. Assets management and access control. What is assets management? Assets, we have seen before, they are talking here information assets. Normally what happened, assets management will people feel various stock market, debentures, like that. Asset management is in financial terms, but here asset management is information asset. Okay, then we go for another 4, which is they say cryptography. What is cryptography? Cryptography is the process of converting plain text into unreadable text and vice versa. So using some techniques, what happened is to keep the confidentiality and to keep the integrity, sometimes to keep the availability also. It is a big topic actually. But in brief here, cryptography is nothing but an art or a science to convert readable text into unreadable text. And vice versa, unreadable text which is converted earlier, again converting back to plain text. Then physical and environmental security, operational security, communication security. Here communication security means access control, who will get the email, who will not get, who will having access to, etc. So all will come here. And A14 is for system acquisition, development and maintenance. So if it is normally called as SDLC, system development life cycle. If you are doing it in within the organization in-house, there are controls. If you are taking off-shelf, there are also controls. Then next is supplier relationship, incident management, and business continuity management, and compliance. So supplier relationship is relationship with the supplier. So information security objectives related to the supplier. So background screening, many things will come there. Then incident management. What is incident? Incident is a probable risk or probable incident which will affect the CIA triad. So that incident, how it is to be managed, how response to be given, and other things, how to be included in acceptable use policy and other things will be coming here. Then business continuity management is business continuity. You have to continue your business. So what your assessment is, it includes disaster recovery management also. And compliance. Compliance is of 3 types. One is compliance to the law of the land. So which country you are supposed for UAE, it will apply UAE law. You are from India, it will apply all Indian laws, not necessarily only company's law, all Indian laws. That you have to comply with. That is mandatory and there is no option, you have to. Number 2 is regulatory compliance. Regulatory compliance, if you are a bank, Reserve Bank of India. If you are in insurance, IRDA. If you are in Saudi Arabia, their regulator of like that. So regulation, all connected with your business, insurance, banking, telecommunication, they have separate regulator for that. So that complies to that regulations, because these regulators take legal authority from the law of the land. And third one is contractual compliance. Like you have entered into some contracts and you have committed something, so compliance to that. So that is compliance. So in all together, total domains are 5 to 18, that is 14. Control objectives are 35 and controls are 114. This is overview actually. To understand Annexure A, at least will take 1 day. What exactly they want to say and how it is to be implemented. There is another standard called as ISO 27002, which is a standard, which is a guidelines for attaining this standard. So same nomenclature, if I say A5, A05.1, A05.2, the same will be available under 27005, 27002, and it will show how to comply with that, and guidance is given how to attend that. Okay, so next is mandatory records. Now there are certain list is prepared for mandatory records, and they are like this. In bracket I have given the section numbers. We'll go fast because we have to cover many things. Here ISMS scope. What is scope? Scope we have to see. What is the scope? Scope, within the context of the organization. So say it is possible that a particular company is being certified and only part of that, like IS department, information system department, or IT department, or only finance, or only location A or location B, or all locations, whatever. So that entities are to be defined here, which is called as organizational context, scope. Then normative reference, information security policies. Information security policies clause 5.2 means the company should have information security, as we have seen already. So this is mandatory. Then information risk assessment treatment process, risk assessment and risk treatment. There are two things. Risk assessment includes the process that in a later slide I will tell you. So risk assessment and risk treatment process has to be well defined and documented. The title is mandatory record. So this has to be documented, well defined, duly approved by senior management. Then statement of applicability. This is another mandatory document which have to be produced. Then information security objectives, as I said, there are business objectives. In addition to business objectives, there are information security objectives related to that business. So that has to be defined. Then operational planning and control documents, the result of risk assessment. So risk assessment, it is called as a risk register. Many names are there. Somebody call it as a risk register, somebody called as risk treatment register, like that. But there should be one register, not necessarily in printing or by pen. It could be in soft copy also. It could be a good spreadsheet. So that results are, checking and evaluation review. That results has to be there as a risk assessment. Then evidence of monitoring and measurement of information security. So evidence is what? We have seen KPIs, key performance indicators. Suppose CISO is given a task of 5 KPIs, and at the end of say year or a quarter or 6 months, that is to be reviewed, and we have to give him marks like KPI, KRI, like that. So that review should be documented somewhere and should be submitted for audit. Then ISMS internal audit program. Internal audit is, we'll say in a process how the internal audit is conducted, but internal audit as far as ISMS is concerned is different from normal what we understand by the term internal audit. So internal audit for ISMS is one step before the certification audit, before the management review meeting and certification audit. So in that process, we will see in detail. Then evidence of top management review of the ISMS, which is we call as MRM, management review meeting. So every basic important thing in the risk treatment and risk management is risk acceptance. So there are some certain risks which you have to accept. There is no treatment available, or the treatment is so is not beneficial to the organization considering the probable loss of that particular risk. That risk acceptance has to be done by top management, senior management, and therefore that MRM review meeting is very important. And what is non-conformity? Non-conformity is an action or commission or omission from the particular provisions of the standard. If the standard says I have to do, I have not done. If the standard says you should not do, I have done. So these non-conformities and how the corrective action is taken, which is normally called as action taken report, ATR. So that has to be also documented. Now, after looking to the mandatory requirements, one of the mandatory requirements is a statement of applicability. Now we have seen statement of applicability includes list of all 114 controls of Annexure A to ISO 27001:2013. That we have seen already. 114, all we have not seen. We have seen the heading of 14. Then each and every control, the list, there will be a statement, each and every control mentioning if that control is applicable or it is not applicable. If it is applicable, what is the reason? If it is not applicable, what is the reason? And in addition, they have to give reference. Like for example, access cloud computing. Cloud computing is not, there are certain say 3-4 sections which are targeting cloud computing. So there we have to write that section number, then control objective, and control, exactly control, and after that you have to write not applicable to the organization. Why it is not applicable? Because company is not processing anything through cloud. If it is applicable, then you have to see policy number, section number so and so, where this is mandated, like that. Same for not applicable controls, as I said. And additional control, it is not necessary that the this list of 114 controls is comprehensive. To the typical organization, sometimes it is possible that you may have additional control in addition to 114. That also you have to, at the end, you have to list it and give references to the policy, procedure, or standard, whatever you have, and you have to give justification why you are applicable. So this is the contents of statement of applicability. How it is a breach? Now we'll see risk assessment. What is risk assessment? Risk assessment is identifying the risk, applying the control, review of risk and control, risk analysis. Analysis means you have to see the BIA, it is called as business impact analysis. Then you go for risk evaluation. Evaluation includes identification and existing control. So taking both together, it becomes risk evaluation. Then risk eval, after that, well-defined system. So in risk assessment also, we will have well-defined system like which is given in 27005 and 31000. Then risk treatment. Risk treatment, there are 4-5 options. One is avoid, mitigate. I think somebody's mic is okay. So what happened is the risk treatment includes avoidance of risk, mitigate the risk, transfer, accept. These are 4 actions. So avoidance is altogether avoid the risk, in the sense change the way you do the business. For example, if you want to go for raising a building, instead of go for rent, so all liabilities connected with contractual and other thing, construction, etc., can be avoided. I'm saying here avoiding means avoiding the risk, not the work. So avoiding means making some changes the way you work. Then mitigate is, yes, you cannot avoid, but you can try to reduce the risk. Transfer is transfer the risk. There are 2 types. One is transfer to insurance companies by paying premium, and another is making some changes in the contractual, where contractors will be held responsible in case of anything goes wrong and not you. For example, firewall vendor, he will be held responsible for updating patches, including updating patches, he should give service. So anything goes wrong without updating, etc., he will be held responsible. So that risk is transferred not to the organization, but the vendor. And certain risks are like you have to accept it. There is no way out, and there is, you have to accept this. Only exception for acceptance is if the risk is compliance risk, there is no change and you cannot have cost effective, etc. So it can be, so we have to accept. Accept means where the cost of control is more than the probable loss of that particular risk. If it is more, then I have to accept it, because I should not pay more money for less risk. But this is not applicable, when I repeat, to the compliance. So regulatory compliance and law compliance and even standard for 27001 don't consider cost. So if it is mandatory, you have to do it. Then risk treatment is a well-defined system, as we have seen already. Mandatory documents, well-defined system should be there, SOP should be there, procedure, policy, everything well documented, signed by senior management. And risk treatment review plan. So there should be risk treatment plan and risk treatment review plan. So it should be reviewed, and that how it is to be reviewed, that plan should be there. Review report is different, but how to take review, also there will be another document. So on a lighter side, they say that ISMS is an audit of documents and not the technology. To the extent it may be true, but it is unavoidable. Now we'll see process model, PDCA. Plan, do, check, act. So this is a process model. Just a minute, excuse me. So plan means I have to plan what I want to do. We are talking in ISMS only, Information Security Management System. I have to plan what I will do. I will do what I have planned. I will check what I have done. And I will act on what is wrong. For example, I say I have a plan that each and every, there should be access control for all softwares defined by particular criteria. That is my plan. Do is, as per that plan, I will provide either a software or a application software or purchase off the shelf and implement that. Check is either I will audit or review that, and act is, suppose I found some non-conformity, I will act on that. Means again I will be planning to act it. So there should be planning now. Why? Suppose there are 3 non-conformities. So how I deal with that 3 non-conformities will be again planned. Again it will be done. Again it will be checked. Again will be acted upon. So it is circular. So plan, do, check, act. Again plan, do, check, act. So it is continual. It is called as continual improvement. It is not continuous improvement. That we'll see the difference. So 2013, prior to 2013, it was mandatory that the organization should have PDCA compulsory. Now it is not mandatory. Only thing is, on this continual improvement, whatever you want to do, it should be well documented, and it should not be away from the continual improvement provisions. So now the management or organization is having a liberty to have their own process model for all this, but it should at least minimum 4 they should include. So in addition they can do. So not necessarily PDCA. But normally what happened, worldwide people find this PDCA as a very simple and good. So most of the organization, though it is optional, they are using PDCA. Then we'll go for continuous and continual improvement. There is a small difference, which is Kaizen. There is one concept called as Kaizen, which is a Japanese concept, where you have to do continuous improvement. Now, what is continuous improvement is, you have to make various improvements, and these, as shown in the paragraph, in the graph, if you see the red, it is continuous. Means every day, every aspect we are going to improve, how it finds like. And continually is in a batches. Say every week, every month, or a particular content only, like that we'll do. The difference is, advantage is, in continuous process, if anything fails, you come to intersection of X and Y. On X axis, we have given time. On Y axis, we have given improvement. So improvement comes to the stage of 0. In continual improvement, as shown in the paragraph, this graph, it will come to the latest. So there are supposed 8 stages, and there are some problem in stage number 8. After improvement, it will reduce to stage number 7. It will not go down. So this is some standard ISO standard, they go for continuous improvement. Some IS standards goes for continual improvement. As far as 27001 is concerned, they want that it should be continual improvement, and that is PDCA. So it has some batches and some sort of time consumed. Like for example, I am finding something and try to improve a particular aspect, then it takes some time. Suppose I am a particular aspect I am checking, I will take one week. So within that 1 week, there may be some problems. So that will be taken care of by continual improvement. Now we'll see the internal audit, how the internal audit is conducted. Internal audit can be conducted by internal staff of the organization or independent third-party auditors, professional auditors, outsiders. Only thing is they should be independent. Means suppose internal audit staff of the company can conduct that, but they should be independent. Means suppose they are doing a audit for finance, this ISO 27001 audit for finance, they should not be reporting to finance. Then it should be object oriented and risk based, should well planned and time based. Opinion should be based on. So we'll see what is the opinion should be based on. Observations, what he has observed during audit, interviews, then testimonials by other parties, expert opinion. Best example is VA PT reports, expert special report like legal opinion, then testing by auditor. The auditor himself tests something that based on that, and again previous audit work papers. So these are the standard on that. These are the various aspects on that the internal audit will find his opinion and report should be submitted. Last important, sorry. So this internal audit is coming in between many times. It depends on the organization. But as far as standard is concerned, it has to be prior to the certification audit. Okay. So now we'll see the calendar. Number one is initial gap analysis. Gap analysis is what? We have to consider 27001 standard, see the what exactly what we are having with us, and find the gap. That is gap analysis. Then attending the gaps, and then conduct the audit, third-party audit, attending the gaps after gaps are filled in. Then there will be management review meeting, addressing whatever is found in third-party internal audit. After that, certification audit, that certified auditors from the ISO or any body certified to authorized to do that audit will come and audit. Then third-party internal audit will conducted. Then management review meeting will be conducted. Then surveillance audit after 1 year will be conducted. After that, third-party again internal audit. Then management review meeting and surveillance audit too. So we'll see the dates now. For example, if I want to get certified from January 21, it should be prior to January 21, gap analysis. Then attending the gap should be within January. Third-party internal audit and management review meeting will be conducted in January 21. Then certification audit will be conducted January 22 before, prior to January 22, say December 21. Third-party internal audit again will be conducted. Then management review will be conducted. Then surveillance audit also will be conducted. Then third-party internal audit again second year, management review again, and then we go for okay, and then they go for surveillance audit again. So this surveillance audit will be January 23, and your period will be over 21, 22, 23. 3 years, your certification is over. Again, you have to go for internal audit, which is shown in yellow and red. Internal audit again to be conducted, management review meeting again to be conducted, and then recertification audit will be, and first month of fourth year it will come. So this is a process of certification. Now, with your permission, I think I have taken some 3-4 minutes more because it happens sometime 2-3 minutes here and there. But I think within time limit, I finished that. Now, my presentation is over. Thank you, all the participants. Such a majority you are coming and listening to me, giving me an opportunity with this great audience. And now over to Elizabeth. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sanjay. Thank you for sharing your experience and knowledge about ISO 27001 ISMS. I would like to take a moment to tell everyone about the series of webinars AIS has launched at this moment. Alvin Integrated is an ISO compliance training provider who has taken the initiative to offer knowledge of various compliance domains to professionals and organizations in partnership with some of the industry's most seasoned and highly qualified experts with a series of webinars. Today's session was the first webinar under the series. We will keep you posted of further webinars through your contact details with us. Now, yes, we come back to you, Mr. Sanjay, with the question and answers from our wonderful participants. And the first question which came in was from Mr. Amit Verma, and his question says, what if I do not want to consider a control as it impacts my BAU situation?
Business as usual situation, if you want to control, then I think it is mandatory. If the standard says you have to do it. Otherwise you have to give justification in your statement of applicability.
Thank you. There is another question from Mr. Kedar Kulkarni, and he's asking, is there a separate certification on 27,005 or 31,000?
No, actually 27005 and 31,000, they are standards and they are guidelines for risk management. And another indication is any standard ISO standard ending with number 1 only can be certified. So 27001 is certified. 27701, that is privacy management, that is certified. But 205 or 7 cannot be certified against. As far as ISMS is concerned, 27,000 series. And there are, so 2005, 27005 and 31,000, they are not certified and nobody is asking any certificate for that. They are supplement to the 27001 standard.
Thank you. I have 2-3 more questions. Quickly, can I put those questions over?
Yeah, you can put all. There is no problem. It is my pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjay. We will keep everyone's time in mind. And I quickly move to Mr. Arun Sharma, who asks how ISO 27001 standard can minimize attack surface inside the organization.
Yeah, we have seen internal controls where there is one is talking about internal dependencies. So PPT, people, process, and technology. And the statistics, global statistics says various frauds which come to the are from internal only. So any person is attacking your network and other things are there, but mainly it is from internal. So the question is, I think, how to control that. The question is, best example is educate and awareness. Awareness and education is the best control. And number 2, strict HR controls. Like for example, they say ki background screening before any person. So whatever he was doing with initial organization, his traits, basically trait for information security, and a vigilance, good vigil department, which will control the actions.
Sure.
Another thing is, just a minute. Another thing is, technology will not help you in this. This is pure people. And secondly, these all security and other things are because of people only. The technology, don't do anything. It will do what you ask him to do. So people is most important, and education and awareness is most important.
Okay, we will quickly move to the other questions. Mr. Mohammed Hassan is asking, GAP is based on SOA or what?
GAP is not based on SOA. Actually, okay. GAP is a comparison between the provisions of 27001 and actually what you are having. I will take simple example. 5.2 says there should be information security policies there. Should be there. And in reality, it is not there. That is a gap. So question doesn't, you cannot say a statement of applicability that policy, having security policy is not applicable to the organization. It is not. The applicability goes with the functions of the company, functions of the organization. And these are the basic records which I have shown mandatory that has to be there. I think that is satisfied with his question.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjay. Yes, of course, if there are more questions, they can get in touch with us. But I would still continue because we have Mr. Shravanti Praharaju, who's asking when we should conduct the risk assessment.
A risk assessment, as I said, risk assessment is a continuous process. So I cannot say that I done risk assessment in January. Oh, it is not. Again, February you have to do, again March you have to do. Risk assessment includes identification of the risk and trying to put control to that. And then evaluation includes, so it is a process, continuous process, PDCA, what we have talked of.
There is a question from Mr. Ranjit Singh, and he says, is there any specific requirements for ISO 27001 apart from 9001?
No, there is no separate provision for that. In addition, you can follow to 9001, but it is not necessary that you should refer that to 9001.
And I will take this as the last question of the day. The name says InfoSec expert, and the question is, lead auditor certification will be provided by which body?
Lead auditor certification, there are bodies certified by, it is called as IRCA. International Register for Certified Auditors. So that IRCA, your organization has to be registered with that IRCA. And for example, Alvin Integrated can give certificate because they are authorized by IRCA and by the ISO standard. ISO standard, what they do, they give certification for corporates, they give certificate for individuals, they give certificate for organization for compliance of various ISO standard. At the same time, there is a standard for lead auditor also. I forgot the name now, I have a number now, but there is separate, I think 27006 or something. There is a standard of why the auditor, etc. So ultimately, at the end of the day, it is sanctioned by ISO through various organizations which are authorized to give the lead auditor certificate.
Thank you. Would you allow me to ask a question, Mr. Sanjay?
You can go ahead, madam. It is your day now. No problem.
I just had one thing in mind, like despite so many measures to protect information as per ISO 27001, why is it that the hackers are still able to attack an organization? Would you put in some light on that, please?
Yeah. That is very big and very interesting question you ask, which is very much relevant. Because we are talking many things, standard, this standard, that standard, management and everything. But what happened is, I have shown you internal references like PPT, people, process and technology. Within these three, P is very important. First P, which is people. And smaller than that is process and technology. I will give an analogy. Suppose suddenly I become a rich and I got a car. 10 million rupees car I got, and it doesn't mean that I can drive correctly. I should know how to drive. So important is getting expensive technology. What happened is, nowadays trend is all organizations, they go for very good, say, firewall. Very good firewall they go for. But if you don't know how to run that firewall, how to put the controls, so ultimately at the end of the day, it is people only. And best is you have to reduce cost on technology and spend more on people, collect, engage good people, knowledgeable people, impart knowledge to them, impart attitude, security attitude, etc. So normally what they do is, the CEO will call somebody, hey, I want should be secure. Sir, if you go for this firewall, it will be okay. No, actually the man behind machine is always important. So I concentrate, I say it should be people, and number two, it is attitude and training and development given to the people. And therefore these attacks are happening.
Great. Thank you so much. So yeah, that sums up the whole thing as people or your employees are your greatest asset for your organization. With this, I would like to thank each and everyone present today for making this event successful. And a very, very big thank you to you, Mr. Sanjay, for giving in your time, sharing in your experience. And we hope to see...
Madam, it is my pleasure, actually. It is my pleasure.
Thank you. We hope to see all of you in our future sessions as well. Kindly support our initiative and follow us on our LinkedIn page, Alvin Integrated Services. We request you to kindly give your feedbacks in the chat box or in the survey link, which will take maximum 2 minutes of your time. Any further questions, you can mark it to our email, info@alvinintegratedservices.com. And before we disperse, I would like to thank you on behalf of each member of Team AIS for attending today's session. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.